anyone who knows what do you mean by data analyst, what exactly the Power BI is, what other tools are there in the market?
Yes, Ritesh. Actually, Power BI is our one of the reporting tool in current market. Yeah, data analyst means daily basis whatever we are doing, it is stored one place. So we are importing to Power BI that data and we are showcase the visuals.
Okay. So it means data analyst showcasing the visuals and data. What else anyone know about Power BI or Azure or Microsoft Stack? Anything about data analyst also?
Yes, Ritesh. Data analyst is nothing but where we are analyzing the data to improve the things. And coming to the Power BI, this is a tool where we are reporting as per the requirements to showcasing more the things to understanding very clearly.
Okay. To showcasing the um, outcome of our data. Okay.
Hi,
Any
Ritesh.
other answers? Hey, hi, good morning. Yeah.
I think a data analyst is like consolidating all the data into insightful decision making.
Okay. Very good. Consolidating the data to insightful
using
outcome using KPIs. Very good. Any other answer?
Yeah, data-driven decision making to improve the business.
Okay, very good. Data-driven decision making. Results. Anything about Power BI? Why only Power BI? There are many other tools also. I mean, if you can name, except Power BI, there are many other reporting tools as well. So if anyone can name few tools.
ClickView, Tableau, ClickSense.
Cognos.
Tableau, Cognos, ClickView.
Name.
Okay.
Looker BI also.
Domo.
Okay. So we have enough tools. See, apart from Power BI, this was one of the leading tool few years back, or maybe a decade back. Around now we are in the 2024, around 2014 or prior to that, MicroStrategy was one of the powerful tool, which was overtaken by Tableau, and now the Tableau has been overtaken by Power BI since last 5 years. So we all would be discussing about what exactly data analyst does, why only Power BI, why not any other tools? Maybe a small comparison we would be trying to see. If time persists, we would be also seeing some insights related to Power BI and comparison it with the Tableau, how different the Tableau is or how different the Power BI is. So many might also have a question. Few might have also answered that this is what the data analyst does, but few might also have a question why data analyst, what exactly he does. So we would be discussing all these points in this session. So getting started with, let me share the presentation deck. Okay, so you want to become a data analyst or a BI analyst. Now, what exactly BI analyst is? See, data analyst is a straightforward word where a data is being there. You need to give the business-driven solutions with that respective data. Now, what exactly the BI analyst means? BI is nothing but a business intelligence. So BI can accommodate any specific tool which you are using, which you are showcasing it for any the business driven solutions. Maybe your reporting tool, maybe your a kind of data extraction or transformation tool. So any tool which is with respect to cleaning of data also is called as a BI. Now, in this BI, we would be discussing more about Power BI, which is our primary tool. Apart from Power BI, what other tools are required to be a data analyst, to be an expert in data analyst position? That tools also we would be discussing. So Power BI plus ETL. Now, Power BI itself has its own ETL tool, which is Power Query. But apart from Power Query, also there are some independent ETL tools which are required from a data analyst point of perspective, which we need to learn. So, want to become a data analyst or a BI analyst? Yes, you are at the right place. We would be discussing all these insights. So, moving further, let me introduce myself. Who am I? I'm a Ritesh. I have around 6+ years, so this is 5, so around 6+ years of experience into this IT industry. I have completed my Bachelor's of Engineering in Computer and Technology. So I work as a data analyst and engineer for Microsoft. So I've been working for Microsoft since last 4 years and via an Indian MNC only. So I directly connect with the Microsoft folks, Microsoft team, which where I'll be working for the reporting purpose as well as I work for a engineering purpose also. Some data engineering aspects also. I work with data engineering team as well. So I have my expertise into data development, data engineering, and the reporting at the last. So I'm a certified data analyst and a data engineer. I have been working with all these domains. Now, you might also have a question that Microsoft, I've been working since last 4 years. So Microsoft, it's a cloud-based domain. So how come a cloud-based domain has the retail as a expertise or healthcare as an expertise? See, Microsoft is a product-based company. So they have multiple insights or maybe multiple internal domains. If they are working for a banking, Microsoft has its own revenue system. Microsoft is a cloud-based system, yes, accepted. Microsoft, it's a product-based company. They have their own internal healthcare platform also. They also want, I mean, Microsoft sells products. They have multiple products. You can name any few products, maybe Windows, the Power BI. There are multiple Windows products. So they try to sell it to the market. That sale division is called as a retail division. So internally, I've been working with multiple Microsoft domains. So that is why I've mentioned expertise in retail, healthcare, banking, and cloud business domains. I've been training new joinees. Whoever joins a certain project, I upskill them, I train them with the latest technologies. So I have a good exposure how an individual should improve his ability in the data analyst or data engineering. So I would be here to help you folks to understand what exactly data analyst does. How can you improve yourself? So moving further, what is the agenda of today's session? Why only data analyst with BI stack? Now, BI is nothing but your Power BI stack. Apart from Power BI, what else we would be learning? What else we would be consuming in this course? What is the current market exposure and trend? The exact skill or expertise required to inherit the field of data analyst or Power BI stack? And what are the data analyst or Power BI future scope? Now, many might also have a question that many people are learning Power BI, but what is the exact scope of that learning Power BI? Apart from Power BI, what else we need to learn, we need to inherit? That we would be discussing with the future scope as well. So moving further, let me ask you a question. What is the segregation of data? Now, how many of you heard this word? What do you mean by segregation? If anyone can answer, segregation of data. Or maybe only this word. What do you mean by segregation?
Unstructured to structured.
Okay, unstructured to structured. Very good. Okay. Any other meaning or any other information which you want to give?
Separation.
Okay, separation, yes, it's also correct. How many of you visit any supermarket, or how many of you visit your local shops?
Any source.
Okay,
Placing data in order.
very good. So as I've asked, how many of you visit supermarkets, or how many of you have an interest to visit a local shop? I mean, if there are two choices, you need to visit a local shop and you need to visit a supermarket. So what would you choose?
Yeah, category wise data.
Okay,
Supermarket.
and why supermarket?
Because it is the items are sorted in a section wise, which is easy to access.
Very good. So that is nothing but your segregation of data. Now, if you visit any supermarket, this is what you would see. Every item placed in a supermarket have a different sections. If you are if you are looking out for a food related products are in a different section. If you're looking out for a dairy related products, they are in a separate section. If you're looking out for any liquid products, maybe your oil, maybe your ghee, anything related to liquid, they are segregated in a different racks or a different section. So superstores is one of the best example where the data is clearly segregated, which helps us to understand where and what is our requirement, go to that specific section, get that get that product which we are looking out for. So we as a data analyst has to do the same process. We might get a chunk of data and that data is not segregated. Data analyst doesn't only mean we need to report a data, but in order to report a data also, we get a chunk of data, we get a bulk of data. We need to segregate that data in a correct manner. We need to filter out that data in a correct manner. Now, this is one example. I've given you one example. I need any other example which you see in your day-to-day life. You might also see one of the example which you see in your day-to-day life where the segregation of data is much important. Now, superstores is one of the best example. Yes, accepted. But apart from superstores, there's also one more shop which you also visit. Maybe you will not recall it, but few people might recall it, which you see in your day-to-day life. What is that example?
Vegetable shop.
We might consider it as a superstore only. Maybe superstore has a separate section of vegetables. Any other example?
Our own
If I
house.
Okay, good. Maybe if everything is sorted, if an individual is not shabby, he'll try to arrange all the things in a correct manner. Okay. There's one more example which many might have visited that shop, but you'll rarely recall it. And it's one of the best segregation of data.
Medical.
Very good. If you visit any specific medical, if you visit a superstore, if some of the items are not correctly segregated, accepted, you can ask the certain individual who is working there that where is this product. But in case of medical, that specific person who is maintaining that medical, he has to segregate the exact medicines in which rack he has to keep that. Because if a person is trying to purchase a product, purchase a medicine, he has to, that specific person who is working in the medical or a pharmacist, he has to go back and see the exact requirement and where is it kept. So medical is the best example of segregation of data. Now, in case of medical also, we might segregate medicines as per their requirement, as per their diagnosis. There are different elements which we consider in case of medicine, as per diagnosis, as per manufacturer, as per age also. Certain medicine is eligible for adults, certain medicine is eligible for children, certain medicine is which needs to be kept in a freezer condition only. So medical or anything related to medicine, we need to segregate that specific information very precisely. So from a data analyst point of perspective also, only bifurcating, only filtering the data is not much, big use case, but how do you filter that data? Where exactly the data would be useful, how to filter it, how to clean it, that all steps we have to consider. Only then the role of data analyst would be of very viable or very usable. Now, what exactly a data analyst do? Now, assume that this is an example. This is a sheet which you get. Now, this is with respect to elections. Nowadays, an election favor is going on. This is one example which I've taken from a sheet with respect to Chennai. So if you see, this is what a tabular information will look like. Now, if you're trying to check any information in this, you have to scroll this sheet. Now, this sheet is only not this much. There is a scroller available here. And there is a scroller available here also. You have to minimize and maximize the columns. If you can see, the column names are not clearly visible. You have to minimize and maximize the columns. And if you're looking out for any specific data, you have to visit the sheet. You have to check what you're looking out for. Now, which is very boring, which is very difficult to get the information also. Now, if the same information, we can represent it in terms of any specific report, why not? See, if you can see this, this is nothing but, this might look like a website, but this is nothing but a simple dashboard in Power BI. This is a simple, straightforward dashboard in a Power BI. Now, you might have also a question that, is it a dashboard? Yes, it's a dashboard. Let me show you that also. Now, this was developed by one of our students only, who has published it online. Now, if you can see here, this is a straightforward Power BI dashboard. And this is not for the current election. This was for the 2023 December elections, where it was held in 5 states. Now, if you want to check any information, you can click on that specific state and you'll get that information. It might take some, now you can see, this is how the dashboard looks like. Now, if you click on any specific entity, it will list out that information. It will clear that information. You can see here. Now, this is very simple dashboard. I'm again trying to say, you might see few pictures here. You might see few information which is correctly segregated, but this is the very basic dashboard. In Power BI, you can develop very advanced dashboards also. But if you compare this data, and if you're comparing this data here, if you're looking out for a dashboard here, most of them would try to prefer this dashboard. Why? Because it is very interactive. There are some pictures, there are some interactive colors, there is some map visual. So every visual plays an important role. From a data analyst point of perspective, you have to grasp which visual is the best fit. You can visit any specific page. You can see this is for Mizoram. Now you can see every page is an interactive page. If you look out for this kind of information from a user or from a client end, it is very difficult for a person to understand. But if at all it's a dashboard, it is very interactive. And this is a Power BI dashboard. This is purely a Power BI dashboard. And this is very, very basic dashboard. It might look very interactive, but still it is a very, very basic dashboard. Now, let's move to our presentation only. Now, what exactly the data analyst does? We might have seen few examples. We might have come across the segregation of data. We have understood what segregation of data will help us to do with. But apart from segregation of data, apart from reporting of data, what else the data analyst has to do? Now, I want answers from you. I might have given you some insights. First one is segregation, accepted. We might segregate the data. That means we are cleaning the data. Very good. Apart from this segregate, once you clean this data, you have to arrange that data also. Arranging the data in the correct manner is also an important aspect, which also is a part of segregation. But segregation is more primarily related to cleaning of data, filtering of data. Once that is done, you need to arrange in a correct manner. Once the data is arranged, from a data analyst point of perspective, you cannot directly jump to the KPIs creation. Yes, KPIs creation will come, but you cannot directly jump here. This is not recommended. In the third step, you have to model the data. Now, in case of modeling, modeling means how each data is related to another data. Modeling plays an important role from a data analyst point of perspective. If you want to do the modeling of data, modeling is nothing but connecting your multiple data sources with some common column. So in order to do modeling, you have to first understand the basics of the data. Understanding basics of data is important. Now, what do you mean by basics? Assume that you're working in a banking sector. This is just an example. Assume that you're working in a banking sector. Now, what do you mean by banking sector? If you visit any specific bank, they have their own website. Now, why do we visit a bank? We try to open an account there. Might be a savings account, might be a current account, might be your business account, might be your credit card. Any specific related requirement to banking, you visit there. Now, they have their own website, they have their own database. The website is connected to database. So assuming that a table will have one basic table, which is nothing but your fact table. Now, what do you mean by fact table? We would be discussing all these insights in our further sessions. But to just give you an idea, there is one common fact table where every person who is trying to open an account, his details are shared. Maybe his customer ID is shared. There is a customer ID here. His customer ID shared. Now, this customer ID, this specific customer, as in certain customer IDs are there. Now, this specific customer, what is he maintaining with this bank? So there is one table where account information is kept, which is account table. There is one more table where his cards information is kept, maybe credit card or debit card. There is one more table where there is personal information about that individual is kept. His personal information. There is one more table where his transaction history is being tracked. Whatever transactions he's been doing with that bank account, all that transactions are tracked. Now, with all these tables which are connected to one single fact table are called as dimension tables. Now, what do you mean by dimension fact? Yes, definitely we would be discussing all these things in detail. But to give you an idea, if a certain central table, which is further connected to multiple tables, that means this is called as a data model. We need to model this data. Once the segregation, once the arrangement of data is done, modeling plays an important role. So you have to first, figure out what should be your fact table, what should be your dimension table, which is further connected with a single fact table. There can be multiple facts also, but usually we follow the approach of one fact and multiple dimension tables. Now, this is an example related to banking sector. You can take any domain, you can take any vertical. Modeling is an important aspect. So you have to first understand how modeling does, how modeling plays an important role. Once the modeling is done, then you can jump to the KPI part. The key performance indicator, KPI is nothing but your visuals. The key performance indicators, your visuals. Now, in case of visuals also, once the visuals is done, you have to first check validation. Whether the data is correct or not. Validation of data at the last is important. Without validation, it is very difficult. Or maybe if you directly hand over this information without validating to the client, that will be a negative impact. Why? Because if the information is correct, very good. But most of the times, in case if your modeling is not properly done, the information might not be correctly available in the visuals. In the visuals, the information might not be correctly available. So in case you have to do the validation at the end. So all the steps are all done by data analyst. There is no role of any data scientist. There is no role of any data engineer here. You as a Power BI lead, you as a Power BI data analyst, you have to do all the steps. As a data analyst, you have to understand, you have to arrange, you have to model, you have to visualize or report it, and you have to validate that data. So these 5 steps play an important role. Now, how these 5 steps can be interpreted in terms of any visual, this is how the data analyst will work. This is how the data analyst will work. if the data is coming from multiple sources, that you can see there are multiple sources here, multiple sources. It might be a offline source, it might be a cloud-based source, it might be a database, it might be online, it might be offline database. You have to extract that data. Transformation is nothing but your segregation or cleaning of data. Here, the segregation or cleaning of data will come into picture. Once the data is cleaned, you have to, what is the second step and what was the step here? You have to arrange that data. Where do you arrange the data? In a certain information or in a certain environment where you arrange the data, that environment is called as data warehouse. Once the segregation, once the filtering of data is done, you have to arrange that data in a data warehouse. Now, after data warehouse you are arranging, you have to create a visualization. Now, prior to create a visualization, you have to model that data. Now, we might have missed that step of modeling, but modeling doesn't come here. Modeling comes in visualization only. Whatever reporting tool we are using, in that reporting tool also, or maybe in that reporting tool only, you have to model that data. Only then the visuals will work perfectly. Now, at the end, if you're sharing it with the business users, you have to validate that data here. Validation of data is done here. Why? Because whether that data is correct or not. Now, validation doesn't mean the only data analyst will do here. He might share few insights with the person who has requested to create this dashboard. He might give that this is what the exact sales, this is what the exact revenue is. Is this revenue information correct? You can ask a question to the person who has requested to create this dashboard. So he might help you that whether the information is correct or not. So if he gives us a good go ahead, you can share it with the multiple business users where they can take the data-driven decisions. Now, all the steps, this is how the exact flow of a data analyst, the exact steps are. I mean, cleaning, extraction, cleaning or segregation, arranging of data, then modeling of data, visualization of data here, and then validation prior sharing with the multiple users. So this is the exact role of a data analyst. Now moving further, what is the current market trend and exposure? I mean, these charts are, this will not give you more insight, but just to give you an idea, with the increasing data, you can see the data is very increasing. This is the amount of, the revenue which is spent on the data. It's around, it would be around $175 billion in the year 2025. Now we're in the 24, but in the year 2025, it would be around $175 billion. This is what every organization altogether are spending throughout the world. So with the increasing data, the role of a data analyst will also be one of the highest paid or maybe fastest growing technology. Now, accepted only Power BI will be very difficult, but apart from Power BI, as I've said, if you know multiple tools which will help us to get a good job, yes, definitely it will help you to be a market leader. Now, you can see there are multiple roles here. Only Python is also very difficult. Only senior data scientist is also difficult. Only backend engineer is also very difficult. Vaibhav has a question that what tools we would be using. Definitely, I'll help you out what tools we would be using from a data analyst point of perspective. But just first understand what do you mean by market trend and exposure. Tools we would be discussing, what all tools we would be learning in this course. Yes, I will give you a detailed insights. Now, with the increasing data, this is the market trend and exposure. Now, if I'll give you certain other insights also. Data analyst, anyhow, it's one of the leading role, leading market trend. But apart from this will give you certain insights. Now, many might also seen this chart, this graphical representation. And after January 2023, there was one more quadrant which was published by Gartner. Now, Gartner is nothing but it's a leading organization which tries to compare multiple tools from a certain sector. Now, Power BI is here, Microsoft is the owner of the Power BI. So in terms of business intelligence, in terms of data analytics, Power BI is the leader here. You can see this is the leader quadrant, and the gap between Tableau and Power BI is also very high. Even though ClickView, even though Tableau are also leaders, they are also part of leaders quadrant, the gap is high. And this is for January 23. There was one more quadrant which was published in August 23. And usually a quadrant is published in the month of January every year. Now, in the month of 2024, these people are fed up now. Gartner are been fed up now that since last 5 years, Microsoft is taking over the market. There is no tool which is nearby competition to Microsoft. So what they have done, they haven't released this Gartner quadrant in 2024. Last was released in August 23. From 2024, if you want to compare, if you want to visit, I'll give you certain insights. If you want to visit, you can simply mention the Gartner quadrant here. If you mention this way, Power BI Gartner Magic Quadrant 2024, see, there is no quadrant for 2024. You have to click here. They have directly given a comparison between multiple tools. If you scroll down, this is the direct comparison between Microsoft, and there are multiple tools here. If you can scroll here, all the details are mentioned. Now, why they haven't created a quadrant is, since last 5 years, the Microsoft is not allowing any competitor to be market leader. That is the reason even the Gartner people are fed up. They haven't, launched or haven't published any 2024 quadrant. They have simply given you the comparison between Microsoft and any other tool which is comparing with Microsoft. Now, what is the exact difference between Microsoft or Tableau or any other tool? Yes, there are multiple differences. Even every difference we are going to learn in further sessions. But if you see the gap, this gap was very small. In the year 2017 or 2018, Microsoft and Tableau were at same position somewhere here. This was Microsoft and this was Tableau. Same position. But from 2018, the gap has been increased. Microsoft was going somewhere here. Tableau was also somewhere here, ideal. But now if you see, the Tableau trend has come down, whereas Microsoft trend has moved up. So this is what the exact quadrant, this is what the Gartner information they are trying to convey. You see, there are multiple other challengers also. MicroStrategy was one time a leader in this BI segment, in this reporting segment. Now it's not a leader, it's a challenger. Google, your Looker is a Google product. There are multiple other tools, but every tool is either a niche player, either a visionary, or either a challenger. But in case of leaders also, Tableau and ClickView are nowhere near to Power BI. So whatever question you have in your mind that whether we are learning the correct tool, whether we are approaching the correct tool, yes, you are on the right track. Microsoft or Power BI tool is the market leader in terms of any reporting segment. Now, apart from reporting, we would be also learning a cloud aspect. Now, what do you mean by cloud aspects? If you see the comparison of clouds here, the segment, this leader in this segment is Amazon. And this is with respect to 2022. Now, the same graph, if you see in 2024, Microsoft Azure. Now, Azure is a cloud product of Microsoft. It would be somewhere here, and Amazon would be also somewhere here. Neck and neck battle would be going on. Now, apart from Power BI, we would be learning Microsoft Azure. In case of Azure, what else tools we would be learning? I'll definitely explain it. But how cloud is important, what cloud will help us to improve. With respect to reporting, yes, we would be learning Microsoft Azure only. Why? Because Power BI is a product of Microsoft, and Azure is also a cloud-based service by Microsoft. So learning anything related to Microsoft stack, it is very easy. You can connect AWS to Power BI also. You can connect Google to Power BI also. But if you connect Microsoft Azure to Power BI, there are around 80 different sources which you can connect directly from Microsoft Azure. But if you want to connect Amazon, the AWS, if you want to connect Google, there are around 2 to 3 different data sources only available. Why? Because they are external cloud providers, but Microsoft Azure is a product of the Microsoft, and Power BI is also a product of Microsoft. So you have multiple options available. You can directly connect it to any service which is part and parcel of Microsoft Azure. So that is the reason we would be focusing more on Azure. We would be focusing on Power BI. But apart from Azure and Power BI, what else we would be learning? We would be learning a database. Now, what do you mean by database? Skills that we would be learning in this course. We would be always starting with SQL. SQL is the heart. SQL is the leader. SQL is everything from a data related role. If you're working as a data analyst also, you need to know SQL. If you're working as a data engineer also, you need to know SQL. If you're working as a data scientist also, you need to know SQL. So any role which is with respect to data, you need to learn a database, and database should be a SQL database. Any SQL database. There are multiple SQL databases. But we would be learning, we would be starting with SQL. Once SQL is done, we would be moving to the reporting. Now, Power BI is nowadays more specifically given a name of Microsoft Fabric. Now, what do you mean by Fabric? I'll give you an insight. Apart from Fabric or Microsoft, the Power BI, we would be learning some cloud-based tools which are part and parcel of Azure. Now, these all tools are part and parcel of Azure. We would be learning Azure Data Factory, which is an ETL tool. We would be learning the other cloud concepts like ADLS, the Azure Data Lakes, the Azure Storage Systems, the Key Vaults. At the end, I would also be giving you exposure to Databricks, Synapse, and Logic Apps. Now, what and why there is a need to learn these 2 tools, I mean, these 3 aspects at the end is, see, I would not be explaining everything in detail as a data engineering point of perspective, because these services are more a kind of data engineering expertise. But if you know, as a data analyst, if you know what Databricks does, how Databricks works, it will definitely help you to improvise your maybe data cleaning process. If you know Synapse, Synapse is nothing but a combination of multiple cloud services in one single environment. And Logic Apps, it is nothing but, it looks like ETL tool only. It is not an ETL tool, but you can do ETL also in Logic Apps. Most probably, we would be using Logic Apps to send alerts. To send any specific alerts, we can use Logic Apps. To send automated emails, we can use this Logic Apps. Definitely, many might also have a question that what exactly every tool does. I'll give you a pause of 10 minutes. Maybe after 4 or 5 minutes there, you can ask multiple questions. But this is what we are going to learn. And this course would be of around 4 months. Now you will have a question that why so much long? See, 4 months means 5 days a week we would be learning. That means 5 days a week. So 4 months is around 4 into 4, 16 weeks it will require. Maximum of 16 weeks. Plus or minus 1 week, we'll take it as buffer, but maximum of 16 weeks we would require to complete all this technical aspects which we would be learning in this course. Now, giving you an idea about what do you mean by Microsoft Fabric. So this is what the Microsoft Fabric homepage will look like. Whatever we are going to learn in Microsoft Azure, which is nothing but your cloud, all that services are part and parcel of Microsoft Fabric. Data Factory is a part of Azure. Your Synapse is a part of Azure. In Synapse also, there is data science, which is nothing but your ML models, your MLOps services. There is a service called as Synapse Data Engineering, where you would be learning Databricks, ADB, Azure Databricks. There is Synapse Data Warehouse. Warehouse is nothing but your storage systems. If you go back, if you recall this diagram, the data warehouse, in data warehouse, what we keep, we arrange the data. So that arrangement of data can be done here in the Synapse Data Warehouse. You can create your own data warehouse. You can create your own storage systems where your arrangement of data can be kept. Cleaning of data, cleaned data can be arranged there. Apart from this, there are few other services which are part and parcel of this Fabric environment. So in simple terms, what do you mean by Fabric? Fabric is nothing but a kind of umbrella where all the services related to data analyst, data engineering, and data science are kept together in one single umbrella. All the services are independent services available in Azure, but still Microsoft, what they have done, they have grouped services with respect to data roles from a data analyst, from a data engineer, and from a data scientist point of perspective to keep all these services in one single umbrella, which an individual can utilize and make sure he does not visit Fabric, he does not visit Microsoft Azure every day. In order to learn all these services, you need to individually go back and learn this service from Azure. If you want to learn Azure Data Factory, if you directly jump to Fabric, it is very difficult to understand. Why? Because this Data Factory is also available in Azure. You need to learn from there. Only then if you jump here, it is very easy to understand. If you learn Synapse from a Microsoft Azure point of perspective, then it is very easy. But if you directly jump to Fabric, it is very difficult to understand. So every service you have to learn individually from the Azure cloud, and then you can directly jump here. It is very easy to understand if you learn these services individually. So in simple terms, Fabric is nothing but a combination of services from where a data analyst, data engineer, and a data scientist use it on daily basis under one single umbrella. So they have also integrated the Power BI service in Fabric. Power BI service, not Power BI desktop. Desktop is used for development. Once you publish a report, that published report is in powerbi.com. That powerbi.com is also part and parcel of Fabric. And in order to activate Fabric also, you need to have a Azure cloud account. You cannot activate Fabric. You can activate it for 60 days of free trial. After 60 days of free trial is done, you have to activate it as a cloud-based system or cloud-based service. Now you will have a question that is it correct or not? I'll give you an idea. See, here, let me log in. This is my powerbi.com. Now this powerbi.com is a part and parcel of Fabric. If you click here on the Power BI icon, you can see Microsoft Fabric. All the services are individually available in Fabric. Now, 38 days of free trial left. That means you will get 60 days of free trial for this Microsoft Fabric. After this, if you want to continue with the premium options which you get in Fabric, you need to activate it from the cloud only. Now, how is it possible? I'll give you an idea. Now, this is the cloud portal. See, here in the cloud portal only, you'll get an option called as Fabric. From here, you have to create your Fabric SKU environment. This is your Fabric. And if I come down, here you have to select what kind of SKU you want. Now, what do you mean by SKU? SKU is nothing but your stock keeping units. More the SKU, more would be the faster, more would be the storage available for a Fabric environment. And if you compare the rates here, minimum SKU is of F2, which is around 24,000 per month. Now, why am I showing this is Fabric is important. I'm not saying Fabric is not important, but in order to learn Fabric, you have to learn every tool individually in cloud. Once you learn that Fabric 60 days trial or 60 days, option, definitely you will get after 60 days also, they are increasing it to another 60 days. You'll get some 120 days also. For few of them, you might not get. In order to use this premium version for lifelong, you have to activate this Fabric license from the Microsoft Azure portal, which is your cloud portal. And minimum, you have to spend 24,000 per month. You can see estimated per month is 24,000. This might go higher also. So one thing here, what I want to highlight is prior learning Fabric, learn all these tools individually on Azure. Why? Because if you learn Data Factory in Azure, you might not even spend 500 for all your learning Fabric, for learning all the Data Factory insights. But if you want to learn Data Factory in Fabric, you have to spend 24,000. Even if you use, even if you don't use, you have to spend, you have to, pay a bill of 24 or 25,000. Only then this Fabric would be available after 60 days of trial. So Fabric is costly. Nowadays, many organizations are trying to move to Fabric, but just because of this cost estimation, many of them are backing out. So it will take some time. This is still in preview mode. Microsoft Fabric is not yet released completely with all the correct updates. This is still in development mode. It will take few more months or few more years also to finally release this product, and that too with a very cost efficient way. This is not cost efficient. For an organization where only one individual is working as a data analyst, if they want to spend 25,000 per month without using or with using any resources, that too with a minimum capacity, it is very costly. An organization minimum requires F16, F32 or F64, which is around 1,94,000. So this is very costly. So what am I trying to convey is, first learn all these individual tools from cloud, only then jump to 60 days of trial to Fabric, where it will help you, where it will be easy from a data analyst point of perspective to learn these tools individually. Now, once you learn all these tools, definitely I would be explaining how Fabric works, how can you create all this ADF services, all this cloud computing services in Fabric. That also we would be discussing in this course. Now, once that is done, once the complete course is done, apart from course, what else we would be covering? See, apart from course, what else we would be covering in the KSRS? When you would be given a PL 300 certification discount, which would be around 50% discount. Now, for this, you have to be very, this is a data analyst certification. So you have to be a very precise person. You have to learn Power BI very precisely. You need to have a very good expertise. Only then we would be sharing this PL 300 certification details with you, so that you can attempt this certification, which will be added advantage in your profile or in your resume. Now, apart from examination, we would conduct certain interview sessions. We would also conduct some external sessions, which is with respect to project management, how project management is done, how agile, what do you mean by agile methodologies? So anything which is related to project, anything which is related to the technical aspects of data analyst or technical aspects of any organization, might be your the agile methodology, might be your interview preparation sessions, might be how to improve yourself, how to make sure that you're in the, whatever reports you're developing, whether that reports are correctly developed. Validation steps. There are some external tools also. So all this processes, all this explanation would be given in this course. There would be some HR related sessions also taken by some external HRs. How a shortlisting of resume is done. So all these processes, all this important aspects we would be discussing in this course. Now, who can take this course? Many might also have a question, who can take this course? Engineering, yes, anyhow. Apart from engineering, any person who is coming from any other background. I might have mentioned few backgrounds here. Apart from these backgrounds also, if you have learned, if you have, have a degree in any other background, which is not even mentioned here, you are eligible to take this course. There is no certain compulsion that you need to have only these degrees to take this course. So you can be from a commerce background, you can be from an arts background, you can be from any other background. Even people who have started their career as a teacher, who have a career gap candidates, there are many individuals who have a career gap also, who want to switch their career to the data analyst. Yes, you are also eligible to take this course. Now, from a graduate point of perspective, few of them might easily understood few concepts within a day, within 2 days, but few of them will take maybe 1 week to understand. Now that depends on individual to individual. So how concept can be explained, that is up to me. I'll explain it at the very basic level. From the very basic level, we will be starting. So with this 5 days of sessions, now this is first day. Next 4 or 5 days, you would be getting all this free demo sessions. So there you will get an idea. Within this 5 days, you will get an idea how basic or how at the minimum level I would be explaining all these concepts. So we would be starting with very basic level from, we'll take it as maybe you're a very initial school student, a kind of school student, you doesn't know anything. From that case, we would be teaching you, we would be starting with SQL first, then we would be moving to the Power BI, and at the end, we would be learning all these cloud concepts. Now, if I bifurcate this, SQL would be of 1 month. That means around 20-22 sessions. Power BI would be around 2 months, complete 2 months. So it would be around 40 sessions, 40-45 sessions. And at the end, 1 month is enough for this cloud. So 1 + 2 + 1 is around 4 months, around 16 weeks. So 1 month for cloud, 1 month for SQL, and 2 months for Power BI. This is how the course bifurcation is. Now, if you visit any specific website, now if you're trying to search jobs, you want to search jobs in Power BI. So in case if you search jobs in Power BI, only Power BI also, many organizations are asking you ETL tools, many organizations are asking you cloud related aspects. If you see, if you go here and if you try to check any specific requirement, many of them are asking related to cloud. So that is the reason this course is developed in such a way that whatever is current market trend, maybe current as well as future, this is with respect to next 3 years of future also, you would be given details, all the details with respect to cloud, all the details with respect to fabric, all the details with respect to SQL. So this is how the current market or future trend would be. You need to know SQL, you need to know reporting, you need to know cloud. And in that cloud, specifically some ETL tool, some storage account tool, some the analysis or bifurcation tool, which will help us to minimize the efforts with the help of Databricks or Synapse. So all these services we would be discussing in this session. And if you take any specific job opening, say you can see in almost every job opening, there is a requirement of Azure, there is a requirement of cloud, or there is a requirement of ETL or ELT concepts. You can search any specific opening. Now with this, I'm open for questions. We are done with our presentation. Maybe if you can raise your hands, then it would be very easy. Let me take questions which are raised in the chat first. Now, Saurabh has a question that what is the exact difference between Tableau and Power BI? See, both of them have their own advantages and both of them have their own benefits. Now, in tomorrow's session, I would be explaining you how many types of data sources are available in Tableau and how many types of data sources are available in Power BI. Now, he also had a question that Power BI is limited to 1 GB. 1 GB is only with respect to Power BI Pro. If you have Power BI Premium license, you can take it up to 100 TB also. Your data set can be of 100 TB as well. In case of Tableau, there is no limitation, but Tableau is very costly. So that is the reason. In order to answer your question, Tableau is costly, Power BI is cheaper. Accepted, Power BI Pro can accept only 1 GB of data set. But if you have your Power BI Premium license, it can take up to 100 TB. Piyush has a question that is Power Automate a logic app? Yes. Whatever we learn in logic app, it's 99% similar to Power Automate. Now, we would be not discussing everything in detail in case of Power Automate or logic apps. I would be only giving you, the requirement from a data analyst point of perspective, how logic apps is important. Power Automate, if you want to learn, there is a separate session. You want to learn Power Platform environment, there is a separate course which is with respect to Power Platform only, where Power Apps and Power Automate would be, taught to you or explained to you. So that is a different course. But if you want to send some alerts, you need to have some insights related to Power Automate or Logic Apps. And Logic Apps is a part and parcel of Azure Cloud, whereas Power Automate is part and parcel of Microsoft Office Suite. Now I'll take up the questions, I guess. Yeah, Manish, go ahead.
Sir, some time foundation is there, so we can start at the early morning at like 7.
If you can repeat your question, I guess your voice is not clearly audible to me.
Means now your session will be starting to 8 to 9, I think. So we can start at the earlier as 7 to 9 or 7 to 8.
So yeah, well, very good. You have raised a question. See, our session would be, the timings I would be mentioning. Just a moment. Our session would be from 8 to 9:30. Now the reason we have kept is,
Yeah, 9:30. That's why we have an office time.
okay, so it would be from 8 to 9:30. If you, many of them might be available till 9 only. 30 minutes. See, our primary discussion would be for 1 hour, 1 hour or 1 hour, 10 minutes. The last 10 or 15 minutes would be more a kind of discussion. So primary explanation would be 60 to 70 minutes. After that, 20 minutes would be our daily discussion. That's it. Now, 7 to 8, I haven't kept 7 to 8:30. There are some other courses going on. That is the reason we haven't kept this parallelly. So our primary time would be 8 to 9:30 a.m. in the morning only. If you have any issue with this time, evening session, there would be definitely evening session, but it will take few more days or few more months also. So as I've said, I've clearly said 8 to 9 would be our primary discussion. 30 minutes or 20 minutes at the end would be more a kind of any chit chat, maybe what else is going on, what we have discussed, how can we improve that. So even if you skip that 20 minutes, or maybe if you're passively listening it, not having interest, but passively listening it also, that will also help you.
This session will going to record it, no? We can see.
Yes, yes. You will get all the session recordings. Once the session is completed on that day, at 10:30 itself, after 1 hour also, you will get, around 1 hour or maybe around 2 hours, you will get that session recording also.
Okay, no problem, sir. And then what the fee? Can you mention some?
Yep. You can go back and check that recordings.
Yeah, no. It's a course fee. Can you mention some the charges?
Okay, now I'll mention the course fees also. The course fees is around 30K.
Okay.
It's around 30,000. Now, why it's 30,000? I'll justify it. See, we are learning all these cloud services. Apart from this cloud, the KSR team would be giving you Power BI Pro as well as premium license, both. Not only Pro as well as premium. So for one premium per user, not premium per capacity. So premium per user would be around 2,000 Indian rupees. It would be around 2,000 Indian rupees. So we would be spending around 2,000 Indian rupees for every individual. So that is the reason. And it would be around for 60 days, not for 30 days. So 2,000 plus 2,000, around 4,000. So your course fees is ideally 26 plus your 4,000 of your Power BI premium license. 60 days you would be getting.
Okay, no problem. And sir, any job assistant?
Yeah, so job assistance, there is a KSR team which is dedicated for job assistance. You would be given some, there are some openings which KSR team directly get. You would be on priority, on priority basis. A person who's from KSR only, they'll get the first priority. Yes, there are some openings which are directly coming to KSR, so you would be given that priority. In case of, see, whatever is required from a project, whatever is required from a job point of perspective, everything would be discussed. But job guarantee, any institute will not take. That is up to individual. We will train, we will upskill you up to that point that you are market ready.
Okay.
Yeah, Vigneshwaran, yeah, go ahead. You have a question, it seems. You have a question? Okay. No, yeah, Sagar, go ahead.
Hi Ritesh.
Hey, hi.
Actually, yeah, see, SQL other than Power BI, SQL and ADF we are going to learn. I mean, completely you are taking care of SQL or else ADF or else only what is relevant to the Power BI in that portion only you are going to teach.
So in case of SQL, if you only learn SQL, if you want to only learn SQL with each and every point, it will take 6 months. So what I'm trying to say is, whatever SQL we would be learning, that is 70% of SQL. The 30% of SQL is not required from a data analyst. That 30% is more a kind of admin related role. If you're working as a SQL admin, if you're working as a database admin, that we would be not learning. Anything related to admin, we would be skipping that. Anything which is related to development, yes, 70% of SQL, which is more than enough. In case of Power BI, end to end, 100% of Power BI would be learning. And after this is done, in case of ADF, we would be learning 100% of ADF. This is an individual service. So 100% of ADF. In case of other services, see, these all services are dependent on the ADF. If you're using ADF, you need to have ADLS, you need to have Key Vault. You can integrate Databricks in ADF, you can integrate Synapse. Synapse is nothing but a combination of all these services. ADF, ADLS, Databricks, all these 3 or 4 services combined together is nothing but your Synapse. So whatever is required from a data analyst point of perspective, that we would be discussing in Databricks, that we would be discussing in Synapse, and that we would be discussing in Logic Apps, which is nothing but almost similar like Power Automate. So SQL 70%, Power BI 100%, ADF 100%, and other cloud services from the point of data analyst that we would be learning. And I'll definitely guarantee you whatever we would be learning in Databricks and Synapse, that is more than enough from a Power BI lead or a Power BI developer point of role.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong for this question. See, as per my understanding, connecting Power BI with the cloud data or else Snowflake or else Salesforce, I think that we can do one time only. Then every time we can do the batch kind of things to generate the report. I mean, sending the or else refreshing the data. And in my point of view, I'm expecting the real time how the work will flow from Power BI with the other ETL tools and the real time what we can do. See, giving the visualization, I don't think so that we can take the 2 months. Correct me if I'm wrong. My point is, I think you can understand that.
So you are asking me with respect to Power BI, why complete 2 months is required here, right?
No, actually, see, for preparing visualization and connecting the extracting the data, I don't think so that we can take for the 2 months. So I am thinking that with the real time of what we can do in exactly in our project.
Got your
But
question.
yeah,
Got your question. So see, we would be learning projects also here that anyways, we would be covering a project once the Power BI is done, once the Azure is done at the end. Now, the question is why 2 months is required. Now, let me ask you one question. Maybe you know Power BI basics, or maybe you have a good exposure to Power BI also. Do you have any idea where a ribbon chart is used?
no. See, I am zero on Power BI.
Okay.
Just wanted to see why I am thinking. No, say almost don't feel any bad on that. Almost
No,
3 years
I am
back.
not feeling any bad.
No. Actually, 3 years back, I joined in one course. I mean, Power BI, which is very 10,000 course only. So hardly 4 or 5 classes I heard. After that, I have seen some videos. You know what they were teaching is for preparing that visualization charts we were using. This is the icon. This is the thing. This is we will get the. This is we can take the extract data, and this is Power BI. See that we can learn in either we can watching the videos or else on YouTube also. My point is, if I want to explain in an interview, So what is real time I have done? That is that I can't able to tell, right? I until unless we will do something anything to the real time kind of work.
Okay, now I got your question that why 2 months is required for only getting or connecting the data and learning this. See, let me share my screen. You'll get an idea.
Yeah.
In terms of Power BI, we would not only learning, uh, we would not be only learning what do you mean by or how to connect Power BI. If you see here, for every chart, I have explained in detail where do we use this exact chart. And if you can see, if you want to learn about, if you want to use a funnel chart, what is the exact requirement of this funnel chart? This is how, if you get information in this manner, only then you can go with the funnel chart. Now I'll explain everything while learning Power BI. That is the reason we have kept 2 months for Power BI. In case of 2 months, we are not only connecting Power BI from a specific source. We are connecting it from cloud, accepted. We are connecting it from real-time data, accepted. After that, in case of Power BI service also, there are multiple options available. Now, what do you mean by data flows? What do you mean by the dedicated pipelines? All these concepts we would be learning. That is the reason we have kept complete 2 months. It is not only connecting data. It is not only creating visual. That answers, or maybe you want some any other explanation.
No, actually, see, this I can understand. My point is very simple. See, one of my friend is working in one company. So I just saw that 2 minutes what his workflow will go. That he was telling something from Salesforce to Power BI, some kind of wire connection will be there. So I mean that kind of anything you will give
Yes,
the glance on that and how the work will flow and all. That is what
that is
my
what I'm
point.
trying to say. In case of
Yes,
Power
yes.
BI, that is not only connecting to Power BI. We would be learning all that connects, all multiple data sources we would be connecting.
Yeah,
That is what I'm trying to say. We will see all these options. It is not only
correct,
connecting on-premise system. All that
correct, correct.
end-to-end flow we would be learning.
Yeah. Why I am telling no this point, if I go to any interview or else any project call also, so this kind of question will arise means until unless if we learn here, we can't able to answer that. That's
Yep.
the reason my point.
And see,
Anyway,
I'll be
thanks. I
sharing all
got
this
the
detail.
yeah,
If you see
I
here,
got the information. Yeah.
yeah, if you see here, every chart, where is it used? What is the additional information? What is the best fit? All this information we have noted down, and I would be sharing all this while learning also. And for DAX also, you can see everything in detail we have discussed. So it is not only learning, connecting, and only creating visuals. DAX is also important factor in Power BI. And if you learn DAX, if you understand DAX, then only you would be getting a good understanding of Power BI.
Yeah. And one small request is Ritesh, and I think in your data vision only is going to teach for Power Automation and Power Apps, right?
Mhm.
So if you share the video so that it could be better for
So in
the
case of Power Automate, you can connect with Mahesh. He would be the right
uh-huh.
person.
Okay.
Definitely, there are recorded sessions for Power Automate or Power Apps also. Uh,
Yeah.
from a Power Platform view of perspective, there are recorded sessions. He would definitely help you out. Maybe he can share that sessions also. But for a final, output or a final outcome, he's the right person. Maybe I'll also ask him to give certain insights also. Let me see if he's available. Anyways, but yeah, there are recorded sessions you can learn or you can grasp from there also.
Yeah, I mean in future it will be helpful, right?
Yep,
That's,
yep.
thanks Ritesh for the
Yeah,
Hi
Prabhat.
Ritesh. Hi Ritesh.
Okay,
These sessions are available for how many minutes? Is there any time period for this recording sessions?
okay. So it would be available for 1 year completely. Now, why only 1 year is, we would assume that within 1 year you should be landing in a good job. But if you want these sessions to be extended for lifetime, you can call our KSR team. They'll extend it to lifetime.
Okay. Thanks, Ritesh.
Yeah, Prabhat, go ahead. You have a question.
Hey, hi Ritesh. Good morning. Actually,
Yeah, good morning.
real-time scenario. So, in every company, there would be a Power BI developer, and also there would be some report and dashboards. Okay. So once we get a job, what we have to do? How we can make a difference between a Power BI developer? Because already there are existing reports and all things will be there.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
What
your
we can make?
question is more specific to already reports are there. You want to migrate it to Power BI or else you want to improve that report?
What actually the what work we will do in a project?
Mhm.
Because already there are existing reports and dashboards and they are working on that. So how we can make a difference, like to create a new report or in modification of the existing report, what activity we can do?
Okay, so the thing is, if you have seen this diagram, so if you have seen this diagram,
Okay.
at every step, there is a very high probability of improvement. Now, if you're using any ETL tool, you can blindly, I mean, you cannot directly blindly go and get that ETL tool, perform your logic. In case of logic also, you have to make sure that logic will work precisely and very accurately. So I mean, in this course, we would be also learning the performance improvement scenarios. Now, if I can explain one performance improvement scenario, there is a concept called as, if you go to Power BI, there is a concept called as query folding. Now, query folding is nothing but is one of the best performance improvement approach in Power BI. Now, how a person can improve that query folding, how a person can make sure every data set is a query folded, that we have to learn. So that is one performance improvement session in or performance improvement option available in Power BI. Now, in case of modeling also, many people will be stuck. If you're working on modeling, many people will be stuck at a certain point, which is nothing but a circular dependency. How to remove that circular dependency also, that we would be discussing. That is nothing but your performance improvement. So in every tool, wherever performance improvement is required, definitely I would be explaining all that performance improvement. I've listed down two in Power BI. In case of ETL also, in case of ADF also, which activity is the best for which kind of data. That is nothing but your performance improvement that we would be discussing.
Uh-huh. Okay, like and another question, like we have in Power BI we have own ETL tool, that is Power Query. So
Yeah.
what is the difference between ETL and ELT and how it is difference in real time?
Okay, now if you want some difference between ETL and ELT is, see, in case of ETL, most of the organizations tend to use. Now, this is the standard approach. Now, what do you mean by ETL? First, we are extracting the data, then we are transforming. Transforming means your logic, your cleaning of data, your logic building is done here. Now, at the end, we are loading it to the certain final destination. Now, what do you mean by ELT? See, there are certain organizations where the data is very, very high. Now, in that case, if the data is very high, what they'll do, they'll first extract and they'll load it to certain, maybe extracting from a certain source and loading it to certain destination. Once they have loaded it to the destination, why? Because the data is very high, it will take some time. So that is the reason they'll first extract and load it. Once the data is loaded, then they will perform some logic building on it. So ELT rarely used. I'm not saying it is not at all used, but one of the best advantage of ELT is wherever the data is in terms of petabytes. In terms of TB also, you can go with terabytes, you can go with ETL. But if the information is in PB, petabytes, in that case, you have to always use ELT. Why? Because petabytes of information will take much time to do the logic building and transformation. So there, what they'll do, they'll first extract it, they'll load it to the destination. After loading it to the destination, they'll perform some transformations.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Yes, Neha, go ahead with your question.
Hi Ritesh, I just wanted to know after each sessions or each concept is done, how is there any assessments given so that we can practice on that, and
Yes,
if we have any doubts, how is it cleared, through what channel?
there would be assessments given. There would be data sets also shared with you. Now, how is it possible? I'll show you. Um, these are all the previous batches. If I come down, see, every student's information is also tracked. How many sessions he are attending? You can see all these data sets are shared for practice purpose. You would be getting all the practice questions also. You would be getting data, I mean, the Power BI notes. You would be getting multiple explanations, which I have explaining. You will be getting the project related information. Sample resumes will also be shared with you. Terms related to PL 300, DA 100, or maybe AZ 900 will also be shared with you. So whatever we are discussing, everything would be shared with you. And you can access this, you can download this. I've created multiple. Now, this is with respect to Power BI only. If I go down with respect to Azure, with respect to SQL, also I've shared multiple things.
Like
Practice.
practice questions.
Yes, practice questions. What we discussed today, the same data set would be shared to you. You can, I mean, recreate it. Maybe you can practice it again. There would be a WhatsApp group created. If you have any questions there, you are free to ask. I would be the very first point of contact. I'll be answering all that questions there.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Any more question? Yeah, just a moment. Sneha, you can go ahead with your question. Maybe you have raised your hand, or maybe you're
No,
not
I
speaking.
just finished. I was
Oh,
going
okay,
to
okay.
ask.
It's you. Okay, I got you. Yeah, Sindhu, go ahead with your question. You have unmuted, but I'm unable to hear you. Anyways, yeah. Shailaja, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hi Ritesh.
Hey, hi.
Actually, I wanted to understand, suppose if a person is having a knowledge or already working on the SQL with a Power BI, so how this course is useful, when I was looking at the course content, like we have an additional of area of Azure Databricks. So how it will give the additional benefit for the person who is already working as a data analyst?
Okay, very good question. And this is a common question which I get on every session. Let me answer it in simple way. The last session which I've completed was in the month of May only. 5 days back or 10 days back, I've completed the last course. Now, in that course also, there were 5 individuals, three of them from US and two of them from India, who were already working as a Power BI developer, but they didn't had exposure to the cloud aspects. Now, what they were looking out for, they were working as a developer, Power BI developer with limited stack. They want to switch their career outside. Now, if you want to switch your career outside, nowadays, all these aspects, all these cloud related concepts are required. If you learn these concepts, one advantage is your job switch would be easy. Why? Because these tools are at most important. You would be getting exposure. Second thing is, if you learn any ETL tool, irrespective of Power Query, which is inbuilt Power BI ETL tool, if you learn any other ETL tool, which is Data Factory would be learning, this ETL tool will also improve your data analytics or data cleaning ability. Now, what do you mean by data cleaning ability? Assume that you have 1 GB of data and you want to process that 1 GB of data. You can process that data in Power Query also, but Power Query has certain limitations. It will take only certain set of rows. You have to break that data. But if you're using Azure Data Factory and Databricks, what it will do, 1 GB of data, it can parallelly process with the help of cluster configuration in Databricks, which is nothing but your parallel processing of data, and which is called as worker node and the driver node. So how to process a bulk data within very few seconds or few minutes, that would be a very added advantage if you have an exposure to this cloud related aspects. might be Databricks or might be Synapse with data factor.
Okay.
So job switch, if you're looking out for some added, maybe in your existing organization also, you can recommend them that this is with respect to this tool, we can reduce our efforts. We can improve the speed of our reports. We can improve the speed of our data which we are getting. So that would be an added advantage for you also.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ritesh.
Hi, Ritesh. Able to hear me?
Yes, able to hear you.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sindhu here. Yes, Ritesh. Actually, I'm working as a business analyst for the banking projects. So I'm looking out for some skills to enhance. So how will be the Power BI to my career and switching from business analyst to data analyst?
You are one of the right person if you're learning this tool. Now, why I would recommend is, see, in case of business analyst and data analyst, there is not much difference. Business analyst, what he does is he's take the requirement from the client. Business analyst doesn't require any technical skill. He only requires domain knowledge. Now, if you are switching from a data analyst to a technical, that means you're data analyst. There, anyhow, you have exposure to business domain. That means you'll have a very good domain exposure. If you understand the domain, technical skill sets from a business analyst point of perspective, if you're getting a package of, let's say an example, if you're getting a package of 10 LPA, if you know BA as well as if you know data analyst, you would be definitely getting a package of around plus 50%, which is around 50.
Okay.
So that difference definitely would be there. Now, anyways, you are switching your career from BA to DA. You will always have a benefit of domain exposure, because whatever domain we would be discussing, within few minutes, you can get that domain. That is one added advantage for you.
Yeah. Okay, Ritesh, got it. Thank you.
Hi, Ritesh.
Hey, Amit. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Amit. So, my question is actually, you inform about the ETL, right? So nowadays I'm seeing like mostly in the data analyst role or Power BI developer role, they're asking for a ETL with Databricks or ADF, right? So like suddenly how this is the requirement they're asking, like certainly like when we have a Power Query, right? And another question is that, like, for as you mentioned that we'll be performing the ETL process in our course, so there will be a live project that we'll be doing as an ETL, or only steps that we'll be performing.
Let me answer your both the questions. Now, why there is a certain requirement of all these cloud aspects. See, when I started my career in 2017, around 2017, how the interviews with respect to Power BI was, they used to ask, what do you mean by RLS? There's a concept in Power BI, which is nothing but the row level security, RLS. If you know RLS, you are selected. Why? Because Power BI was that much powerful at that time and many people didn't know. Now, coming back plus 6 years or coming down the next 6 years, many people are learning Power BI. But with respect to Power BI, if the data is high, Power Query cannot handle the data very precisely. Power Query has certain limitations. It can take up to 50,000 rows only. If it goes beyond 50,000 rows, either you have to break it, or else you have to connect with certain data source which can accept multiple, or Power BI can accept multiple rows more than 50,000. So every inbuilt ETL tool, not only Power BI, if you can check Tableau also, Tableau Prep is nothing but your ETL tool. But apart from that, an individual or independent ETL tool is required. Why? Because this tool can handle a bulk data. This tool can connect to any data source which is not available in Power BI also. And apart from ETL, if you learn this Databricks is nothing but your big data, where you are breaking the data into multiple parallel processing units, and you are processing, or you are performing analysis on parallel processing units. So that is nothing but you are parallelly improving the performance of data. So with all these aspects, if you combine, Power Query cannot do all these things in one single code, or maybe it cannot do. It can only clean the data up to certain limit. It can only accept the data up to certain set of rules. But if you use all these ETL tools, you can take any amount of data. You can take 1 TB, you can take 2 TB, you can take 1 petabytes of data also. Even that is possible. Power Query cannot handle so much large chunk of data. That is one advantage. Now, this answers your first question. Now, the second question is, I mean, more specifically, you said that how you want to, I mean, what else we would be covering, or how the project would be there here, or what kind of data or what kind of flow we would be using. See, once we are done with SQL, in case of SQL, there can't be any specific project. Maybe I'll give you certain queries, maybe I'll give you certain data sets, maybe I'll give you certain practice questions. But once we are done with Power BI, we would be going through 2 end-to-end projects. There, most of the questions would be resolved. And once the end of the Azure concepts are done, we would be, I mean, I would be giving you a project where end-to-end Azure, end-to-end usage of SQL, end-to-end usage of Power BI would be there. So you will get a complete idea. Now, let me give you an idea also. In the last session, or maybe the last course, what I've covered. Now, if you see here, this is Azure with Power BI project. And if I come down, everything I have detailedly mentioned here. What service you need to create, what steps you need to learn. And if you see here, if I come down, I've given you a data set also. I've given a IPL data set where modeling is required or not required, even that is shared. If you see here, I've given you hints also. In case of ADF, what kind of activity can be used, how and where to store that data, everything in detail I've mentioned for this end-to-end project. So the same explanation would be given to every session which I would be taking, or every course which I would be taking. And there would be different data sets. See, every hint, how to insert records also I've explained. And this is second project, the data analysis sales project, where all the hints, all the possible conditions, what needs to be done, all this is explained in detail, including data modeling, including the report creation. So need not worry, all the things, all the details would be shared to you in detail. Now, this is only one explanation. There are 2 more projects apart from these 2 projects which I've covered end to end.
So complex data model also will be covered, right, for Power BI?
Yes, complex data modeling also, how to handle many-to-many relationships, how to break that. Yes, everything I would be discussing.
Yeah, thanks.
If there are a few questions in the chat, where can we get the WhatsApp group joining link? Once you enroll for this course, you would be definitely added to that group. Maybe not for next 5 days, but after that, yes, there would be a group created. I guess this answers your question. Vaibhav has a question. ETL tool means I cannot understand. I know ETL means extract, transform, layered, but I don't know about tool. See, ETL is nothing but extract, transformation load. Yes, very correctly you have said. But what tool you have to use? ADF is one of the tool. Informatica is one of the tool. Talent is one of the tool. Now, why only ADF? Because ADF is part and parcel of Azure. Azure is a product of Microsoft. Power BI is a product of Microsoft. That is the one added advantage. If you use Power BI, let me open Power BI also, you'll get some idea. In case of Power BI data sources, around 70 to 80 different sources are available for Azure. Whereas if you check for any other external ETL tool, there are limited options available. That is the reason we would be learning more a kind of ADF. And if you want to switch your career as a Power BI, ADF is most recommended ETL tool. Why? Because you can access it anywhere. It's a cloud-based tool. You need not install anything on your system. Now, Sagar has a question. What is the mode of payment? There are 3 different installments, 10, 10, 10. Definitely you will get an advantage there. Mode of payment, direct. Maybe you can use your credit card, debit card, even that is option is available. You can directly transfer it to the KSR team, even that is there. The KSR team will be in touch with you. Different mode of payments are there. Now, how do I make sure you are enrolling for this course? If you visit our KSR website, let me open the KSR website. This is how the website will look alike. and you want to learn, or maybe you want to enroll for this course, click on this courses, click on this live virtual training. If you come down, maybe there you will get an option, full stack Power BI with MS Fabric tools. Click here. See, there is an option called as Inquire Now. If you click on this Inquire Now, also our team will be in touch with you. And see, you can see all this information is kept here. Even you can download your brochure, what we would be learning in this course. There's an option called as Enroll Now. If you click here, you would be enrolled here. Now, our team will definitely help you out how to get accesses, how to get this, how to log in this specific KSR website. You will be shared these specific credentials also. Once we are into Power BI, you would be shared the Power BI premium licenses. You would be given KSR email IDs, which you can use for activation. So every process is documented and you would be helped there. There would be a definite help from my end or from the KSR team.
Hi.
Yes,
Hi,
Shivani,
Ritesh.
go ahead. Hey, Shivani.
Yeah. So, when will be the resume preparation will happen?
Okay, resume preparation. See, after SQL also I can take, after Power BI also I can take. But I would recommend, if you want to switch your jobs, maybe once we are done with Power BI, I'll take a session for resume preparation. Maybe once we are good with SQL and Power BI, we are in a stage that you can prepare your resumes and you can check outside how the market is. But only if you learn SQL and then you want your resume preparation, even that can be done. But I would not recommend that. Why? Because you need to have an understanding of Power BI. Yes, once you are done with Azure, you can mention your Azure aspects with that resume also. But resume preparation, I'll take it after Power BI, where it would be beneficial from the market point of perspective, the current market point of perspective.
I have applied for certain jobs with 2 years of experience, but I didn't receive any call as a Power BI developer. So, is there any
Only
course
Power
like-
BI, yes.
Yeah.
Portal, there isn't any portal. The KSR team will share you jobs in the respective WhatsApp groups. From my end also, I would be definitely helping you out. What kind of role is best suitable for you? You can share with me. I would be helping you out. Resume preparation, if you want in between also, if you're, very eagerly looking out for a job, definitely I can help you out at that point, at that point or at that day also. In between, anywhere between SQL and Power BI, yes. Now, your question, what you're trying to say is only with respect to Power BI, as I've said, if you rewind back 6 years, you would definitely get a job if you only know Power BI. But nowadays, they are expecting more from you, except Power BI. SQL is must. Your cloud aspects, your ETL is must. So that is the reason we have included all this technical aspects. If you also visit our KSR, maybe if you are following KSR since last 2 or 3 years, if you go back to last 1.5 or 2 years, this ETL was also not a part of Power BI sessions. Why? Because at that time, Power BI and SQL was only market trend. Nowadays, cloud is important. That is the reason we have changed. We have also updated it with the latest market trends.
Okay, but are there any openings for 2 years or say
Yes.
freshers?
Yes, there are openings for freshers as well. Are you a working professional? Maybe you have worked for any other organization, not with technical.
Yeah, I have worked, but right now I'm on a career gap. So that's why I was looking.
There are openings. There are openings. You have to justify yourself that I have 2 years of experience. But with this course, I can make sure that you can put down, or maybe you can, whatever skills you mention in your resume, you can mention it as 3+ years of experience. That I can guarantee.
And as a fresher, are there openings?
Yes, there are.
And how much compensation we can expect as a fresher, including this cloud, if we include cloud in our resume?
See, I'll take one example. You go to this page on LinkedIn or go to this MasterCard jobs website. Even till today, if you visit today also, there are openings for data analyst for a fresher. Opening for data analyst for fresher, 0 to 2 years of experience. So the thing is, if you are looking out for a job in my MasterCard, you need to have a very good domain knowledge. You need to have a very good logic understanding ability. Now, MasterCard will pay you, as a fresher, MasterCard will pay you around 8 LPA minimum. But in case, if you're looking out for a job in a service-based company like TCS, I'm not taking any names, but still Infosys, they'll pay you around 4 LP, 3.5 to 4 LP. This varies company to company. This is not same. So what kind of company you're applying, it is up to us, or maybe it is up to that company what they're offering. There are few organizations, there are few business companies, there are few business firms. I'll keep it to business firms, financial firms who also are moving to Power BI. Now, here financial firms will always offer you 2.5 LPA. There are some companies which offer 2.5. You can always ask them that I have so and so skill set. Can you give me around market strategy of 4 LPA? If they feel you are good in interview, they'll definitely give you 4 LPA. And with your improvement there, every company will, increase your pay scale. Pay scale is not a matter of concern from a fresher point of perspective. Once you land a job, once you are good in learning, you will definitely, after 1 year of experience also, you can expect a job of 10 LPA. Even that is possible. But it varies from company to company. As I've said, service-based, low, product-based, high. And if you visit, if you visit this MasterCard LinkedIn page, many people have posted on LinkedIn also that there are openings available MasterCard for 0 to 2 years of experience with 8 LPA.
And after 4 months, you will be there to assist in our interview preparation if anyone doesn't get job after 4 months as well.
We would be discussing everything within this 4 months. Our group would be active. The current batch which I've completed, that group is still active. They still have questions. I'll try to answer there itself. So group is active unless and until the group is not deleted, I would be there to help you. And that group will not be deleted.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi Ritesh, here we learn DAX query and all.
Yep. If you see this is what we have learned. This is for last batch. So we will learn all this DAX. Almost around 100 DAX functions we would be covering. Sunil has a question, joined late. Could you please share the recording? This recording would be available on YouTube after 1 hour or maybe after 2 hours, or maybe by end of this day, you will be getting this.
Yeah, Ritesh. Also, it's update available in our website directly. Could you please share your screen, or else could you please give me option to share the screen so that I can explain them how it looks like.
Just a moment, Nish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've made you post.
Thank you. So even in YouTube also we are releasing, but if you need as early as possible, in the sense we can able to see directly in our app. Let me share my screen, guys. Let me know once you're able to see my screen.
Yep, visible.
Yeah, this is our website. So you can sign up if it's the first time you are attending. You just go to the ksrdatavision.com, or else let me show from the basic. So KSR Datavision website. You can go here. So you can sign in here or sign up. If it's a first time user, you can sign up directly, or else if it's already had an account, you can just log in. Example, I'm trying to sign in. Sorry, it's so long. As I do have an account already, I'm just signing in, guys. Okay. You can go to courses. upcoming sessions. You can click on upcoming sessions because it's a batch started today only and 1 week free, right? Here you can see full stack Power BI May 24 free preview. So 1 week sessions you can able to see here. Click here. You can just click on enroll now. Sign out. You will get this update. Access now. Okay. Within 2 seconds, it will be redirect to your account, your class. Right. So you can see in class records this month, it's today's class, tomorrow class also, you can join directly here. It will show like this, join now. If I clicked in this, it will be redirect directly to the our class now. Once class completed, you can able to see here view recording. Hardly it will take another 30 to 40 minutes. Within 40 minutes, you can able to see view recording button here. And tomorrow class, you can able to see here, and Monday class here. It's not yet started, right? That's the reason it's showing like this. Okay. So all our course curriculum and content you can able to see here, and any SQL documents or PPTs also you can able to see here. We are updated, and the roadmap also we are already updated previously. So, but today's class you can able to see here, and you can able to join directly from our website. You no need to send the Zoom link. First to 5 classes because our outside people also will join. We are sharing. After that, you can join directly from our website and the application. We do have app both in Android and iOS. Thank you, Ritesh. Hope it's clear, right? Anyone have any questions?
There are few hands been raised. Yeah, Bayram, go ahead.
Hey, hi. I have a different scenario and background, but I just want to make sure how many the projects we are going to have in this Power BI, because my background is more into the data. I play with the data every day. I play with the real-time data, like I do capture, process, and send to the data warehouse daily. I do that. So the one I didn't touch it is the ETL part and the presentation part. So I want to make sure this tool I do be good at some good point, so that I can enhance my career and with the current company. So I just want to make sure in the different vertical of the projects I want to attend and enhance my skills.
Okay, so in total, we would be covering 4 projects, 2 with only respect to Power BI and 2 with respect to the end-to-end Azure SQL and Power BI. So now why only 4? I'll again justify it for you. 4 would be from my end, I would be explaining end to end. Apart from these 4, I would be sharing around 8 to 10 different data sets where I would be explaining how can you, with that data sets, how can you make an end-to-end project, even that is visible. So in terms of projects, you can take as many as data sets from my end. I'll be sharing multiple data sets, but from my end, I would be explaining 4 different projects end to end. 2 only with respect to Power BI, 2 with respect to end-to-end Azure Power BI and SQL.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. Any other? I guess you're working as a data architect, it seems, right?
Yeah, I work for a Teradata corporation, and I do end-to-end the data points. It is a BOA project, Bank of America. So I collect all the real-time data interactions in the web, and I do more into the personalization part for them.
Cool. Okay. Seems an interesting job, but yeah, it would be beneficial for you from the reporting, from the ETL point of perspective. Yes, it would be. And anyways, you will get the idea about data within few seconds also.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Sairavan, go ahead. I guess you're speaking on mute. Yeah, Braj, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Actually, I'm from business background. I'm looking to shift my career in business analyst side. So, do you guys have separate course for business analyst, or will this course will help us to work as a business intelligence side? Like,
Okay, business intelligence and data analyst are not much different. As I've said, both are same. From business analyst and data analyst are slightly different. From, as you said, you are working as a BI or you're working as a BA?
currently, I'm not working as a BA. I'm into business development side. I want to
Okay.
shift into business intelligence side. So, yeah.
So see, business analyst is the person who take a requirement from a client. From a business analyst point of perspective, you need to only know domain and what exactly the requirement of a client is. From a data analyst point of perspective, you need to know domain, you need to know technical tools also. So if you want to switch your career as a BI developer, if you want to switch your career as a data analyst, definitely it would be beneficial. But if you only want to learn business analyst, that is totally a different environment. So for there, you will not require any tool or there you will not require any technical skills to be expertise. You need to have a good logic and domain experience. Domain means banking domain experience or maybe healthcare domain experience. You need to understand what data is what, how can it be connected. That is what you require. But in case of BI, in case of DA, you need to know domain, you need to know technical tools as well. So it is up to you. You have to decide if you want to learn, if you want to improve your career in this BI. Yes, this is the right track. This is the right course. The Power BI course is the right course for you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks.
Okay. Shruti has a question that BPA domain packages will consider and can expect increase in package of fresher in. Yes, if you're working as a BPO domain and you want to switch your career, see, everyone here, I'll clear my point. If you are learning this course, you can make yourself as a 3+ years of experience in Power BI. If you already have an experience more than 3 years, you can put that complete experience as 3+ or maybe 5 years of experience in Power BI also. But for a person who is switching his career from a non-tech to tech, that means from a non-tech path or which is not even related to technical, but you are jumping this to data analyst, no company will go back and check whether you were working as a data analyst there or not. Only thing they'll check is whether that company is valid, your previous company is valid. Most of the organizations nowadays are checking whether you have a valid PF account or not. That's it. If you mention your last 5, 10, maybe your 3, 4 years of experience, even if it's not pure technical, as a Power BI experience, no company will have a question. You have to justify yourself with this course. You can justify yourself as a 3+ years of experience. So you can switch career from BPO, you can switch career from a technical, non-technical, any non-technical background to this technical background. You can switch your career as a career gaps candidate also, even this is beneficial.
So Ritesh, we need to change that experience into the Power BI experience, right?
Right, that's it.
Okay. So can we expect the more hike on the present package?
Yes, definitely. If you are switching is nothing but increasing your CTC. And if you're increasing with all the skills,
Yeah.
not only Power BI, but with respect to ETL and Azure, definitely it will an added advantage.
Okay, thank you.
I guess someone is on unmute. Not sure if you have any other questions. Yep. Any questions? Any other doubts? If there are no questions, the same time we would be connecting tomorrow, 8 to 9:30. We would be following the same time for almost all our course.